For more on this, I want to bring in Roger Hilton. He's a research fellow with the think tank GlobeSec, and he's joining us today from Vienna. Roger, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Good to see you again, Hillary.
Let's start with the news of the day, being those sanctions, of course, against Russia from Canada, the U.S., and the EU. We were just hearing about all of them there. 2 years in, how effective can these sanctions really be? How effective do you expect them to be on top of what we have already seen?
Well, I think sort of the category of sanctions that were outlined, they were never intended or designed to be the one source that was going to cripple the Kremlin's war, the Kremlin's effort at the moment. It's part of a much larger strategy in tandem with what's going on the battlefields. The takeaway I see for it right now is, number one, a lot of what Canada needs to do in the United States and Europe is sort of work much more on the compliance of the existing sanction regime, which Russia has very creatively circumvented. And of course, the new round of sanctions that went out today that is targeting countries like the UAE, China, and other countries, it begs the question why allies didn't start with that package to begin with. But going back to my original point, I think, it's in the short term, Putin is mortgaging. I think the deputy Treasury Secretary said he's mortgaging the future of Russia now. And it's very much a slow burn with the sanctions. So while punitive, they will have an effect long term.
How long term? How long into the future do you think it'll take before we start to see that effect on the Russian economy?
Well, I think sort of you already have a lot of the Russian economy suffering from, the lack of basic elements that they need for the war efforts. Again, it's hard to put a timetable on it because at the beginning, I think everybody in Russia and at the National Bank and other ministries were caught off guard by the swath of how broad it was. And of course, they've been very inventive of working through it with Armenia and other countries. But again, I think it would be a fool's errand on this, in this moment to sort of say when they'll take their effect. But long term, with the Russian election coming up in March, these sanctions are biting. And it goes without saying, when you're listening to Dmitry Peskov, who's the Kremlin's spokesperson, he's talking about the invalidness of them and how they should be removed immediately. So I think they're putting on a brave face where, the Russian society right now, despite being somewhat resilient, is going to start to feel the pain long-term in critical industries.
How important has President Zelensky's leadership been during this war? Of course, we have been speaking in recent months, of course, about how it does seem in some ways that there's a bit of a stalemate. Ukraine is actually due to have elections in the not too distant future. Of course, remains to be seen how that will work, if that will happen. How important has Zelensky been over the course of the last 2 years?
Hillary, it's a very heavy question, but after thinking about it and really giving it a lot of reflection, I still think to this day, his leadership is fit for purpose. Every wartime leader really experiences a lot of ups and downs and the pressures. And, if we look at what he has to do on a daily basis, he has to secure financial aid abroad from Western partners. At the beginning, it was very much focused on Western Europe and America, and now he's really gone out of area, taking G7 meetings in Japan, visiting Africa, visiting South America. So that's one part of the grind that he's up to. And then the most important part is deriving confidence and hope for his people. He's still giving a speech every day, asking Ukrainians to dig in and hold the fort right now in this very tough moment. But as I said, I think given the circumstances of what he's been tasked with, the unpredictability of the international landscape, whether with what's happening in the Middle East, and just the confluence of chaos across the international system, I think he steadied the ship quite well. And we'll see sort of how his military reshuffle plays out long term when he's replaced General Zaluzhny.
Roger, like you say, there's a lot happening right now on the international stage. So how important then are anniversaries like this? Of course, we're marking it. We're speaking about it right now. But does it become important as a way to maybe bring this issue, this particular conflict, back to the forefront of people's minds on the international stage?
Absolutely. If you look at it, for the immediate aftermath of when the war started, everybody was glued on this one conflict right now, especially in the European context about war returning to the continent. But if you just gaze out into the international affairs system at the moment, whether it's transnational gangsterism in South America, terrorism on the rise again, great power competition, there is so much for policymakers at the Privy Council or the National Security Council to get a grips on and make sure that interests are supported. Anniversaries are important, but I think it's important to look, to the future and say that, this is one moment right now, but it's not a reflection of what the final outcome will be with the right support.
Okay, Roger, we're going to leave it there for today. But as always, thank you. Thanks for joining us, for making some time for us today.
Have a great day, everybody.
Roger Hilton is a research fellow with the think tank GlobeSec, and he joined us there from Vienna.